Hey y'all, welcome to episode 17 of the Prolific Shift Sunday Sit Down. I am Janae Peters and I am the founder, CEO, creative director, executive producer, marketing researcher, HR director, payroll accountant, all the things for Prolific Shifts right now until it takes off and becomes something that I cannot handle on my own. But for now, I do a lot of those things with a lot of support from a lot of people who mean the world to me. If you are among the 20 views I tend to get for these videos, and also I appreciate y'all and I know who y'all are, and I promise I'm going to remember you when it's time. But if you watched last week's video, episode 16, you might remember that last week's question had a lot to do with where, how, and from whom you've learned about love and intimacy, and it asked us to think about what role that plays in our lives. It then asked you, it was a little more complex for the action item. It asked you to write or rewrite your narrative for how you understand intimacy and love in your world. I don't know if y'all did that, but if you didn't do that last week, that was an exercise that I actually did, and it jump-started a lot of interesting thinking for me. Some of it was kind of hard, but a lot of it was really good stuff that came out of writing. And for me, it was also rewriting that narrative about that experience. So we've reached mid-October, which means that in a lot of places in the US, it feels like fall, and in other places it's called fall. Internationally, things mean differently in different places, but this is a time of shifting in a lot of places and spaces. A lot of us are soon to encounter that what I think is an outdated experience of daylight savings coming up in November, but we've got a lot of signals right now about things that are shifting outside of our control. And so this week we're taking on some of those shifts that can be or maybe should be within our control. And so that's the spirit with which we're taking this week's question. This week's question is, what in your world could use some tightening up? I think one of my favorite people from the South, who always reminds us that the South has something to say, Raheem Jackson, always says, time to tighten up. And that is part of the inspiration for this question this week. So I don't think that every time something changes or shifts outside of our worlds, that's a requirement for us to do the same thing. Like I like new moon intentions, but I don't always follow them. But I like the reminder always. I like the new year as a reminder. I like the beginning of the academic year as a reminder that there are new opportunities to experience life differently. And I think what I would say, to become more cognizant of the ways in which we want to engage our lives. So this question about what in our world needs tightening up, to me, when I think about that, I think a lot about the things that we say, dang, I said last week that I was going to do blank, or, I really need to spend some time doing blank, or I meant to reach out to so-and-so, or I did this. And we say that often. A lot of times I think, well, if you're me, you say it to yourself a lot, like, dang, this is what I meant to do. I wrote it on the to-do list for, 7 weeks and still haven't done the thing. And so I think that there are like actionable things like that. And what I wonder about for this question is, what's the theme there? So when I think about the things that I personally want to tighten up, I think a lot about the connections I have. This pandemic has been really strange in terms of how we do or don't feel connected to folks. There might be folks that, especially last year during that first year of the pandemic, where it looked like there was a light at the end of the tunnel, we were having fun virtually and still staying connected. Year two, we're a little tired. And I've been feeling that personally. I feel very exhausted by this pandemic, and I feel fueled in some places. And I try to make sure that I'm creating time and space in my life for the things that fuel me. But I have really slacked on my depth of connection with people. And so that is something that for me that needs some big time tightening up. I always hope that some of these questions get us to sit with ourselves. And I know that sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable to really engage these questions. And I think that when we hit those discomforts, that gives us information that is something that we should probably engage, like when we have our proper supports. So this one about tightening up, I think you can access it as simply or with as much complexity as you'd like to. So the action item, it's to think about something in your world to which you know you need to attend. So that's, the answer to the question. And identify one thing that's in your power to do in service to that this week. So for me, if I'm talking about the depth of connection or connections being the thing that needs tightening up in my world, what I want to do is think about who are my people and who have I been in touch with, who have I not been in touch with, and how can I make space and time to check on those relationships, to see how they're doing, what's up for them, because it also could not be, it's possible that it's not just about what's happening for me on my end. It could be that we haven't been connected because we're all exhausted, and that's an okay thing, but that doesn't mean that I can't reach out just to say hi or just let someone know that I'm thinking about them. One thing that's super important to me is that these action items are actually actionable, right? So it's not that we want to answer a grand question and then have an unrealistic way or an unrealistic thing that we've set our minds to do, because that's just really setting ourselves up for failure. So the idea is that it's actionable. So for me, for this one, it's very actionable to me to say, I'm going to reach out to 3 friends that I haven't been connected with, but really have been missing. And so I can reach out to 3 friends. I can reach out to 3 friends right now. And that is actionable. And really making a time and space and committing to doing that is the part that matters. So again, the action item is asking you to identify something that you can do this week. And I believe that y'all can. I'm going to go ahead and do mine today so that I don't want to fake y'all out. So if I have decided that these things are actionable, I'm going to go ahead and do them. And next week, I'll let y'all know how they went. Per usual, I am always happy to be in thought partnership with anyone. Please leave a comment if you have something that you want to share here, the thing that needs some tightening up, and then how you plan to do something in service to it. Would love to hear that in this space, but always love to be in thought partnership with folks. Know that that's always an option, and know that the best option is always finding the people you love and trust, and seeing what y'all can talk about together related to this. All right, y'all, I'll see y'all next week. Peace. If you liked anything you heard, please don't hesitate to comment, like, subscribe, or support in any of these ways, and especially through your love and care. Peace, and I'll see y'all again soon.